Edmund Cooper was a British poet and writer of science fiction who served in the Merchant Navy between 1944 and 1945. After World War II, he became a teacher while also publishing short stories on the side. His first genre short story was the 1951 The Unicorn. In 1954, he published 3 books under 3 different pseudonyms for Curtis books, one of these being The Black Phoenix, a spy thriller featuring a secret underground Nazi base and the supposed teenage son of Adolf Hitler. They Shall Not Die is a thriller where a young woman and would-be heiress is being purposefully almost driven insane by a group of scoundrels due to her inheritance, an idea that on the surface reminds one of an Hercule Poirot short. Cooper's fiction was no stranger to adaptation, be it the authorized adaptation, such as that of his story The Brainchild, whose movie adaptation The Invisible Boy features the return of Robbie the Robot from the film Forbidden Planet, which I suspect is more the result of sheer executive meddling than any intent on Cooper's part. Albeit the unauthorized adaptation, for example, the 1969 adaptation of his novel The Uncertain Midnight, made for Swiss television without his permission, even going so far as representing Swiss television at the inaugural 1969 Prix Futura in Berlin. From 1967 until 1980, Cooper reviewed science fiction for the Sunday Times. He died in 1982 at St. Richard's Hospital in Chichester as a result of chronic alcoholism. In his obituary in the Sunday Times, he is described as an elegant and cheerful outsider who belonged to no literary cabal, preferring the freedom of his Sussex countryside. The Cloudwalker was published in 1973 and was apparently his most well-received novel, and it was one of Cooper's own favourites. It is set in Sussex, where Cooper and his family had moved to in 1968 when he decided to quit his job and become a professional writer. In the distant future, when civilization has nearly destroyed itself in an atomic holocaust not once but twice, a new medieval society arises under the harsh leadership of the Luddite Church, a church devoted to the obstruction of progress except when absolutely necessary, proclaiming all machinery as basically anathema and from the devil, burning down whole families alive for the crime of making small inventions to make their work easier and more productive. In this society, one is chosen for a certain profession from birth and has no ability, essentially, to change it. Chiron is a young lad who becomes chosen, in this instance, to be an artist's apprentice. Although he's very talented, he does not, in fact, like the job at all. He works under an old man and already an established artist, and helps him create a work of art beyond anything he had ever created before, earning him instant fame and success while working on his secret research to try and accomplish an old and forbidden dream. Chiron wants to be able to fly. He acquires the help of another boy, and together they initially construct a kite, the appearance of which causes a great incident, and this necessitates Chiron's master, who is already dying, to take the fall just to save his promising apprentice. And yet Chiron's art and inventiveness may prove indispensable in helping to save Britain from a marauding terror that had become the scourge of Europe. The book will remind you of John Middleton Murray Jr.'s series The White Bird of Kingship, taking place in a post-apocalyptic medieval Britain. The main character even has a romance with a noble-born lass, despite having a girl more or less chosen as his future wife, just as Chiron here does, to which both return to in the end. The only slight disappointment in The Cloudwalker is the main antagonist, the admiral of the great pirate fleet attacking Britain, since we only ever see his brigands about, and he himself never actually shows up in the novel. The ending of the novel, where the hero saves the day by means of a hot air balloon, certainly marks the first time I've ever seen that ungainly and uncontrollable vehicle become the saviour of the day.